Okay, hi. I'm Clintleetwood, and I'm back again with another replay analysis review. This time, this is by the player Stickyglue on the official Mecha Discord against Albatross of Time. I feel like I've seen this name before, so I'm not quite sure what MMRs we're dealing with here. But maybe I can get a solid guess in later. Anyways, if you haven't watched one of these videos before, I'm going to kind of stream of conscious long-form dialogue this video and step through this replay and talk about things that I see and I think things that can be improved upon when I do see them. This is probably going to run a little lengthy, so I apologize in advance if a 30-35 minute video isn't something appealing to sit through. I totally understand, especially with my droning voice. But here's the deal, right? Our player Stickyglue is run Cost Control Specialist with a very strong draft, in my opinion, early on. Sledgehammer Marksman, I think, is very good. Versus the other player, which is Albatross of Time on Quick Supply spec, who has Fang Sledgehammer. Typically, right, if I see a Quick Supply Specialist picking up a Sledgehammer draft in the opening, I almost always think they're going to click this button twice, in which case I'm a little sad. It's going to be tough to come back from. But the reality, right, is that we start with an extra 100 credits per round until, the game ends. So this extra 200 that is afforded to Quick Supply early on is kind of nullified by about round 3, where we start to eke out an economical advantage over them. So there might be a lot of pressure early on in these beginning rounds, but at the end of the day, typically, right, games can end typically end, not always, but typically end between rounds 6 to 8. So we can utilize our health as a resource between rounds 1 and 3, but about round 4 and 5 is when we should really start paying attention. We can get some really swinging rounds in Incendiary Bomb and Sticky Oil Bomb, and yeah, we'll have to play to those ends. But yeah, I think this is a very good opening draft for Cost Control. Typically, the things that you don't want to see on Cost Control is like Arc Light to an extent, Mustangs, Steel Balls, and I think Fangs, but Fangs really aren't there to do damage. They're there to soak it up, so it's that's kind of a moot point. But let's move ahead and see what goes on here. If I'm Albatross of Time, whoa. Okay, that's sick. Yeah, pretty standard stuff from Stickyglue here. I think the only thing I would say to do differently here maybe is kind of switch this Marksman and Sledgehammer placement, and then maybe move the Marksman back a little bit. So like have the Marksman like here, here, and here, and these Sledgehammers like here and here, here. I'd probably just go Crawlers here. I think Crawlers do pretty well into the board. They beat Fangs pretty well, and they are a general nuisance to all things Sledgehammer and Scorpions. Okay, so we go 1 extra Sledge. Do we take our free unlock? Okay, we do, and we grab Collars. I think that's the right call. I like that. Unfortunately, Triple Sledge is a little ill-fated due to a round 1 Scorpion. But not to worry, this is a bit of cheese. This unit will only really be a nuisance for the first couple rounds, and in which case I think our economical advantage will start to kick in, and we will have better options and ways to deal with this. Yeah, and this Scorpion's going to give your Sledgehammers the juice. Oh no. Not the Marksman. Let's see. So what's going to happen here is this tower is going to go down, and then the Scorpion's going to say hello. Oof. Yep. Right. So the first round is over. This is fine. This is like the short-term gain that Quick Supply gets. If you look at this right now, health is even, right? So this is fine. ER Sledge. This is my favorite card in the game, and I think is absolutely worth picking here. But I also think like Underground Threat over here just kills this entire thing, especially if we put like another crawler here. And could easily win us the one of these early rounds. Level 2 Scorpion, that's a huge stat stick of HP. Your opponent goes another Sledgehammer, unlocks crawlers. Okay, cool. So both players are utilizing their free unlocks here. That's smart. I still think the answer is like an Underground Threat here with like maybe a crawler, and try to get an early tower. We go Stormcaller. Okay, yeah, I think Stormcaller is solid here. The only downside, right, is that ER Sledge puts him up to 125, which makes this like pretty reasonably able to get into range with like Mechanical Rage or range of our own, right? If we cook this, there's only a 15 meter range difference between the two. So let's see how this shakes down. I think this is a bit of an overcommittal to this side. I would like to see more Chaff. I think there's a world, right, since we have 450, what we instead do is maybe one Stormcaller and then like crawler back here, crawler over here, and maybe even like crawler back here. And that way, right, we have some extra Chaff, and we're developing our board at a, in my mind at least, like a more reasonable pace. Nice, these Stormcallers get some great shots in. The Scorpion says hello again. This like kind of looks good for you, huh? Yeah, nice. This is a good pickup. This is a very good pickup. And you win the round. Cool. So now the economical advantage has swung into our favor. And we go Mustang. Yeah, I mean, I think Mustang is probably the best unit in that pack. The only thing I'm afraid of is armor on this worm. The other thing, right, is like Sandstorm can kind of neuter Mustangs if we don't have a lot of Chaff to hold it in place. Sorry, excuse me. So things can get a little weird with Sandworm on the field, but I'll be honest, I don't think the Sandworm is like pretty well positioned or pretty well supported. But okay. This feels weird. Okay, so we grab our Chaff. Now, we should probably be clicking this button. Deployments are some of the most valuable stuff in this game, so anytime we can eke out an extra one is pretty big. I think you're going to get absolutely hosed by these worms. Let's see. Chomp. Oh, we're actually going to kill this over here. Nice. I mean, these Stormcallers are just doing so much damage. Oh no, that sucks. Oh, nice, and that tower debuff comes in real clutch there. What's going to probably end up happening here, though, is this worm is going to hit your tower and then kill everything here, huh? Oh, it's very low, though. Okay, nice. Okay. Whew. This is a little worrying. Haste module. Oh, Sticky, I think you missed a huge opportunity here. Haste module on this unit does so much damage. Haste module, advanced firepower control system, improved firepower control, amp core to some extent, all suit up very well on Mustangs. If you ever played like Magic the Gathering, it's called putting pants on a creature. Like you put an enchantment on them and they become stronger. You can think of it the same way. The haste module is us putting pants on these on these Mustangs. So let's see what we go for here. We have 1,000 credits. Looks like we unlocked melting points. Oh, and we matched our sledge. Very cool. I didn't see that. This is smart in general. If we have a bunch of chaff on the line here, this worm will never bury. It'll give plenty of time for this melting point to charge up and do the damage it needs to do. And your opponent goes for another worm over here, and looks like they drop a unit here. Yep, and see, exactly like I mentioned, the unit didn't get a chance to bury, and as such, basically falls over. That's a little unfortunate. I think this might work out for you. Oh. No! Stop! That's bad. I think this squirt one-shots this thing. Oh, just about. The other reality, right, is that outside of haste module, we also had absorption module at the start of this round. Absorption module on that melting point would have made a world of difference. Maybe not there at the end when the tower went down, but it's basically a free tech on that unit, right? Because typically people run energy absorption. If we just have like 1 or 2 melting points and we have an absorption module, we basically saved ourselves 100 credits. But we got to deal with this over here, huh? This is a problem. This worm is now level 2, and yeah. So I think there's a world, right, where we go like missile, bunch of crawlers, melting point. I don't know if birds here are the best answer. I guess that's because of the free unit pack. Do you match? Yeah, okay, cool, nice. So yeah, you're doing what I believe is the correct stuff here. These Mustangs should clear out what's going on here. We click the Master Crew button, very nice. Which means that this worm will stay up trying to kill these crawlers, which means this melting point gets to charge up and do its job. And that'll be killing both of these units. Something that can also be considered here, right, is we're going to have an answer for these wraiths here. The community likes to call these donuts. So we're going to need an answer for these donuts here. Sorry, green screen, or the green box is bothering me. We're going to need an answer for these donuts here. And since he's rocking Degen Beam, something we can do is we can just go boat with photon emission right here and right here. And if you look right, the only thing that can really shoot up is this wraith, and the boat beats the wraith every time. And these fangs over here, everything else dies. And, you know, boats traded really favorably into fangs. Oh, nice. We get the worm. That's huge. It looks like all that's left is what's going on over here. And in this case, right, this melting point will almost certainly clean up. We lose the tower, but it doesn't really matter in the long run. This might hurt, though. This timing is a little unfavorable. No, stop, Mr. Scorpion. Oh, God. Nice. And yeah, these phoenixes will one-shot. So yeah, something I would like to see here is like boats with photon. Let's see if you go for it. Your opponent goes for strike spec. So we know he's going to play even more on the flanks. I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. I think strike spec is something that you want to pick up early. Later on, it kind of tips the hat too much, so to speak, or tips your hat too much, so to speak. We've already hard committed to the flank, right? So we know we're gonna have to be playing around it, or my opponent knows he has to be playing around it. So, you know, the air of surprise of overloading one side is kind of gone at that point. Sorry, that was a plane passing over. So they go for 2 more worms. Something that I would like to see here, really honestly and truthfully, is boats with photon. I think hacker is a mistake, and a pretty big one. For example, sledges do, these level 2 sledges, these level 1 sledges do 581 damage, and this hacker has 3,000 health. ER sledge is in play, meaning that the hacker by default will always have less range than a sledgehammer. And as such, these sledges will always trade up into the hacker. So, yeah, it's a little rough here for us to be picking up hacker. I still think boats with photon are the answer. I don't know if you run boat and photon, or in for the uninitiated, boat is overlord. It's the in-game name. If you are running overlords with photon emission, like this just gets we just put it like right here. Yeah, like right here, and all of this gets completely hosed. Put another one like right here, and all of this gets completely hosed. And then these boats live and run forward and kill all of this. And if the boats live by themselves, right, it's 800 on the board. But also, the chances are is that this remains completely intact and this remains completely intact. So that's another 800. So that's that plus the boats alone is 1,600, and our opponent is at 1,700. That makes the math pretty clear in my head that all I need to do is eke out a little bit of an advantage up here, and the game is over. So let's see how this goes. Wow, instantly deleted. Oh wow, we take the worm. Okay, maybe this works better than I thought. Let me take the other worm. Smart. And yeah, this is GG. There's too much stuff on the board here. Yeah, so it looks like you just kind of answered exactly what was happening here in a reasonable way. Nicely done. Some notes for you. I still just see 2 little chaff. For example, there's only 4 units of chaff here. The other big thing is like this tower is like pretty vulnerable. If we put a crawler here, like and this is like theory crafting, right? If this were to get like too out of control for us to deal with, we could always delay it by putting a crawler here. This would allow our time for us to kind of move forward and get to a more favorable position, or give us more time to deal with what's happening over here if it were to get too out of control. But I think at the end of the day, right, you answered this well enough, and that is if sandworms are on the line like this, we can put crawlers on the line, and they basically don't burrow, which allows melting points to do their work. Another conventional counter I've seen is launcher overlord fort. So like in this scenario, right, we could have a launcher overlord fort right here, a boat with photon for the wraith, and things look pretty good for us. I did notice this button being clicked more so than I've seen in previous replays, so kudos to you on that. Also, another thing to point out here is that I see 1-1 being clicked, so also kudos on that. But the only like major critique I have for you here, Stickyglue, is I think you just need more little dudes. I think we have pretty good ensemble here. I think this EMP tech is maybe a little troll. Maybe it's to shut this down. Maybe. I'm not quite sure. But I would have really liked to see more little guys. We could have like some vertical things up here with shield, right? And that just holds this down forever. Crawlers back here with replicate just kills this entire thing. Well, maybe not. There's level 2 sledges here. But I mean, you get the idea, right? We could have a Stormcaller up front, right here. And I think what ends up happening, right, is if we have a Stormcaller up front up here, and then like crawlers in this like little corner, this gets all pulled back, this gets pulled forward. This Stormcaller here just wipes this Fang, and then once it wipes this Fang, if these guys haven't turned around from killing this crawler and gotten to like a position in front of the tower, we just get a free tower. This is pretty naked. We could even missile sentry Stormcaller right here and probably snipe this tower and get an early tower win. But yeah, like I said, very well defended. I think you had a pretty solid understanding of how to deal with these things. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. Do not run jump drive on the birds. But there is a reality, right, where we can, even this is like pretty open. We could drop a Phoenix right here, click this mobile beacon, and then walk it this way. And it would take both of these towers. These Fangs wouldn't turn around. So just some things to think about, right? There's this concept of like negative space that I like to talk about. And if you look at your board, right, if this is a canvas, there's not a lot of negative space. The only negative space that really exists is like up here. But that's okay, because our units are long range and we want there to be like an open field of fire, so to speak, right? But if you look at your opponent's board, this is all open, this is all open, this is all open, this is all open. So there's a lot of open space that we can abuse. And if we ever feel like we're being pressured to have a response, I sometimes hesitate to answer what's in front of me and instead see if there's a way around it in like these corners. By doing so, right, you force a response out of your opponent, which means they can't continue to do this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff, and instead have to consider or respect what you might do over here. But yeah, I think this is like a solid replay, and thanks for sharing. Once again, my name's Clintleetwood, and catch me over on Twitch or do that YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe. All right, see you everybody. Bye-bye.